The AMG GT has been completely redesigned, and I think Mercedes has built the new Porsche 928.
Which must mean you like it quite a bit.
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
There's issues with it when you start to apply sports car metrics to this behemoth.
It's big.
Essentially, it is a hardtop Mercedes SL. Because you'll notice the prior AMG GT was just a two-seater, but the new one has really useless back seats.
I mean, like, why are we trying back seats?
Like, I think children would complain and get angry at you.
Yes, they will.
Even when you fold them, there's still not a lot of space.
Yes, true.
And there's not enough room because they hit the back of these seats.
Yeah.
All right. But the car is spectacular. And on this trim level, which is the E-Performance version of the GTS, the 63S.
Yes.
This is absurd amounts of power.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive. Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
You know, when you read things like a sports car weighs 4,800 pounds, you think, why would it do that?
You think I'm going to go elsewhere is what you think.
Why,
you think that's
would you even
unnecessary.
consider it?
That can't possibly be good. Yeah.
Well, let's start with the engine. A handcrafted 4-liter twin-turbo V8,
Yes.
making 603 horsepower, but it is also Mercedes' new hybrid system inspired by Formula One technology, which means it is a 400-volt battery sitting on top of the rear axle to give you a combined output of 805 horsepower and 1,047 pound-feet of torque, which are cars and coffee bragging rights kinds of number.
I think this is the most powerful car on paper we have ever driven for this show.
I think you're right. We've driven cars with more horsepower,
The torque.
but not more torque.
1,047 pound-feet of torque in sheer torque numbers has got to be the most torque we've ever driven. And 800 horsepower is way up there on horsepower too. That may be, that's close to the king as well. It's just an astonishing amount of power.
What do you do with all that power?
You don't use it most of the time.
I mean, it can't just be for straight line performance, especially in a GT car, which is designed to be good at everything. I mean, you can track this car.
Yeah.
There's other more suitable track cars, I feel like.
There's a list.
But you could.
There's a list, actually, yes.
Now, this is bolted to a new 9-speed speed shift transmission. So you've got all-wheel drive, the engine, you've got the drive shaft. That goes to a unit that encompasses the electric motor, a 2-speed transmission, and a limited slip differential, and that is the entire rear axle. And then on top of that is another 200-pound battery. 4,800 pounds, and they are not shy about it.
Nope.
And I feel like Mercedes has done what Porsche did with the 911 and bend physics, because weight has now become irrelevant. This car corners so hard and grips the earth so hard, it's almost like they're using that extra weight to their advantage to stick it to the ground to go around corners even faster than you thought.
I mean, this has
How
brand
can this
new
car do this?
Michelin Pilot Sport 5s on it, which are clearly a very good tire, and they fit this car well. But it is astonishing what this can do as far as sheer grip. It's one of those things where I don't feel like the weight ever goes away. You're aware of it, but you're also then aware that it doesn't really matter.
The steering feel is practically non-existent.
Yes.
That's because of the weight, but it's nimble because of the rear axle steering.
Yeah.
So it actually goes through corners, and the precision is very high, and the faster you go, it just seems like it's more lively and better.
It's fine with it.
But
Which is crazy.
I keep thinking 4,800 pounds. What does 4,800 pounds feel like? Not like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel anything. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. It's supposed to feel like an SUV or a truck.
Well, you know
And
what?
It doesn't.
That weight number and that torque number, those are truck numbers. A 4,800 pound vehicle with 1,000 pound-feet of torque, that's a truck. That's a pickup.
Yes.
What are we doing?
I don't know, but the car is aspirational and it's excellent, and it goes around corners so quickly, and it's so nimble with that rear axle steering. It's worthy. It's a car that you should aspire to get. The big question mark, of course, is the system. That E-Performance system.
Oh, you're wondering about reliability now? You're wondering about power now, aren't you?
I mean, mean, that's just barely flexing.
Yes. Yes.
And then this has carbon ceramics too, so we gotta really get the heat into them, which the carbon ceramics never really seem like they get hot enough. I mean, they work well enough.
Yeah.
I always prefer the feel of iron brakes.
There's a lot going on there.
That was even in comfort mode.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, you know.
In most of the modes, you use the right dial here. And then when you touch the button, you've got regen in 3 different stages. So you've got normal, strong, and maximum recuperation.
Maximum.
For the battery. And Mercedes was not really concerned about range for the battery, even though as a PHEV, you can drive it in electric-only mode, and it, as we've been driving this, it's switched on and off and just cruised along above 50 miles an hour, even in electric mode, and it's been fine. But they are more concerned about consistent power and having that power always available and getting that power quickly out of the battery. So they have decided the temperature of the battery. They've designed their own cooling system for the battery to make it an even, consistent temperature in any kind of outdoor temps to make that battery consistently give you all that power, which is really impressive. My question is longevity of that system, because
Agreed.
being
Yes.
Formula One derived or inspired, those cars are not made for longevity necessarily.
Well, but anytime any technology on a car is everything we can do right now, you have to ask the question. Mercedes is great at this. Of like their S-classes and a lot of their luxury cars, they will show you everything possible right now. But there's always a lingering question, and that is, because you've put so much stuff on it, and because so much of it is, we just got it to work, isn't it cool? What is it like in 10 years? And the truth is, we don't know. Now, you can get this car in lower trims that take out the PHEV part of it and just make it a powerful car that looks like this. That might be the more responsible play if you're worried about reliability, but this is the all-in everything, all we can do, and the price is $220,000.
That's a lot of money.
Which is a lot, and it's putting it in competition with things like the Aston Martin Vantage, which is interesting. Maserati Gran Turismo for this kind of money. I mean, this
Bentleys
is the kind
are
of
up
world
there,
you're
I'd
in.
say.
The Bentleys are probably higher,
Yeah.
but this is GT car thinking, and it's a heck of a GT car. And talk about bragging rights for numbers. Here's the thing. You can get the lesser trims, and you still have bragging rights numbers. It's just this is like we've closed the bar. The discussion's over.
You know, I didn't think it was possible to make the GT better looking, and I was concerned that they were adding back seats because it changes the proportion of the car. Nose is still long, and that dominates the proportions of the car, but you can see it's not quite as long as the prior GT, but it still looks really beautiful, and
does.
I think this car is slightly better looking than the prior GT, and I love the old one.
I agree. I thought
I'm
the
in
old one looked
love with
great
it.
in every trim I saw it in, and somehow this is a more attractive car, and I was not expecting that, because when I saw it in photographs, I thought it didn't look as good. But now seeing it in person, even in this crazy color, which is like desert sand, I think is what they call it, this is not a color I would have ever picked, and it still works on this car, which suggests to me it's going to look good in any color you put on it.
When you sit inside, this does feel like a $200,000 car.
Yeah.
It feels special.
Yeah.
Turbine vents, the materials, the build quality. The door thunk is one of the best door thunks. Okay, I will model it for you. Ready? It's just so satisfying.
It's from the people that brought you the G-Wagon, which you also like the door
Yes,
thunk on.
the
Got
people
it,
who
yes.
invented cars.
Okay, yeah, all right. You and your door thunk.
Kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, all right, fair.
The instrument panel is interesting because it's got some sensual curves that model the fenders and the fender flares. You can see that as it terminates in each of the turbine vents. And then the nav system floats. So there's nothing behind it here. It floats right in the middle. It's easy for both passengers to use. I think it has actually improved. There's a lot going on, and you might be overwhelmed looking at the steering wheel, but just think, F1 team, and they're putting all of their controls on the steering wheel. If you start to think that way, F1 inspired technology, the steering wheel is full of the controls, and everything about the car you can do from here. This is where you select the manual transmission with your left dial over here. It doesn't spin, it's just 2 buttons that toggle you through all the available options, so that way you can have the 2 most used that you love always being prominent, always being displayed. And then of course the right dial selects the different modes of the car, which are endless at this point. So sitting here, there's a lot of interesting information. It seems like there's a lot going on, and there's plenty of information here, and the way you select through here, you have to spend a minute getting used to it, but then it really starts to make sense. And I appreciate the refinement that Mercedes has done.
I mean, it is an incredible interior, and it does feel special to be in here. I think we could argue maybe overuse of screens. Mercedes has gone so far into screens, but at least they do work. They're bright, they're clear, they're fast and easy to work with. I don't like all the haptics on the steering wheel. I'd rather have buttons.
Yeah, I'd rather have buttons.
Haptic or touch screens, even on the steering wheel. I don't love that, but you're right, you can dig through all of it. I mean, there's a slider for the volume, haptic slider on the steering wheel.
You can't get it right. Where's the exact?
And the one down here, also a slider.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know what works great for volume? A knob.
I miss the scroll wheel. Just the knurled scroll wheel.
All right.
Okay, it's time for you to
Looking forward to
this
it.
bad boy.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm looking behind you here. That is a, let's see, that's a 5 and under back seat. That's what that is. That's a 5 and under back seat. Age 5, not height 5. Age 5.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make it work, but no, that's an emergency only back seat. I do have to say, from the moment I sat here, I thought, this car feels expensive. And this car feels special. And that's before I'd driven it at all. It looks great. It actually, I'm going to go into Sport Plus mode.
Ooh.
Very, very grumbly. And then this car leads me to one of my side rants.
Okay.
Because it adds fuel to the fire of something that's on my brain. And I'm going to start first by just accelerating, and then I will discuss the reality and the problem. But again, absurd numbers. And here I'm going to go all the way to the floor.
That's fast.
It's very fast, and you heard and saw kind of the stages of where it realized how serious I was and ramped up further and further. This is a car that has so much power that anything you need to do in daily driving just requires tip-in. That level of application of throttle that you use to leave a light behind another car, that's how much throttle you need to do anything in your life. If you want to do like, I need to pass you because you're in my way and I'm angry, that's 10%. You still have 90% of throttle travel, and this is my question. We are making cars so powerful now, and EV motors have made cars so blindingly quick at the absolute breathe of the throttle pedal that we have created a world where we're never, ever, ever, ever going to use full throttle. Why would we ever do that? And my question becomes, why not? What was so wrong with using the throttle pedal? Why are we all driving around at tip-in with like, I don't want to use too much throttle? We have people ask us on the podcast sometimes, is it okay? Does it hurt my car for me to use full throttle? And I just think, how did we get to that place? How are we all just commute driving? And I think it perpetuates also the reality of the fact that I need a super loud exhaust and I need crazy power because I'm only going to use the car from idle to 3,000 RPM. Never mind that it goes to 7. I'm only going to use it at the bottom, and there I want all the power and all the noise. But that's when it's supposed to be quiet and not be powerful, because we're going to use all the stuff later when we get close to the carpet with our right foot. This is a poster child for power you'll never use, and it is shocking how capable it is. This, to me, is the luxury equivalent of the Nissan GTR.
Oh,
it weighs too much, it has too much power, it defies physics at every turn, but in this case, I'm in a luxury environment.
That's true.
This is the luxury GTR. All of the craziness that the GTR does, where it just shocks you at every corner, it takes down other Challengers that are lighter or supposed to be more like sports cars. This does all of that if you push it, which boggles my mind. But you can turn it all back to comfort and quiet and breathe on the accelerator pedal, and it's going to be your just castle. Your perfect, I'm ensconced, nothing can bother me. But okay, right here, this corner, this is a heavy car. This is a sharp, decreasing radius corner. I am sorry, but that's impossible. What is going on here? This rear steer and all of the grip of this all-wheel drive system, it is literally GTR levels of astonishment. in a luxury Mercedes package. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I want one. But what I realized after that sentence is, I actually don't think I'd get this one. I think I'd get just the gasoline version, because it would still be like 5 to 600 horsepower depending on your spec, depending on which engine you got. 63 standard, 53, and there's even a 43. I promise you the 43 would feel fast. I'm genuinely amazed by this. Every time I drive it, this car will go as fast as I can imagine myself taking a corner. We drive a lot of cars that are big cars, and I'm like, I'd like to go faster through there, but that's not really right for the car. However fast I'd like to go, this can just do it.
It's true. That's true.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed, and it is excessive, and I kind of want one at 200 grand.
You know, I want one too, but then every time I think, okay, we're driving faster, you really get into it, and you want your sports car to really come to life and feel great through corners, and it never feels great. It can do it, and the more you ask of it, the harder you push, the better it gets, and the harder it goes. But that feel isn't there. Two things to your point. Car companies are always going to want a technological flagship show car.
Yes.
The most that we can think of doing that eventually might make it into other cars. We talk about F1 inspired here. It can't be exactly like F1 because we're not meeting the formula that F1 requirements have.
True.
So it has to be certainly inspired because you have to put a warranty with it. You don't have a crew to rebuild it or swap it out at a moment's notice because it's so delicate. But the other thing is, I think because cars have gotten heavier because of regulation, but also there can't be the next model that is less than the prior one in any way, either in speed or power or comfort or how good it is. I don't think most customers would accept, well, the last one was actually more powerful than the new one.
Sadly.
Why would you do that? I'm not going to buy the new one.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll go to your competitor. I'll buy the other one.
You're right.
So you have to always make the next one incrementally better and better. It has to be more. And we're now at this place where cars are so heavy and there's so much tech in the top end. I celebrate the technological innovation. I welcome the flagship. Put all your mojo into everything.
Sure.
And also build the lightweight, interesting, fun. We're going away from this.
We almost need two lineups of every car manufacturer where they're offering the light analog stuff and then they're doing this big stuff that clearly is going to keep getting heavier and more powerful, even though, I'm sorry, these numbers are ridiculous. And we've had a few moments where we've had the opportunity to floor this car, and it's taken thought. It's taken like planning, like where on the road could we try that?
Right.
And it's always had to be when there's nobody around, and it's overwhelming. The all-wheel drive system is just you're a train. It's mind-boggling what this can do technology-wise. And somehow I like it better than the last GT, which I liked in every trim we drove.
It looks so sexy. It has so much presence. And I've never been harassed more than I have driving this. In any car, in the McLarens that we've had, and anything else. People just harass you. It has this presence. It has all of everything, all the power, all the tech, everything in this car. And it seems like people know it, and they want a piece. They want a piece.
They want to get close. If you'd like this kind of Mercedes or the old GT maybe, or any other competitor, you want to shop Aston Martin's, go to autotempest.com/everyday. Autotempest is the place we use for all of our searches. With one set of search terms, you can search all of the other search sites. You can save your search. You can have it alert you, all kinds of things. New cars, used cars. The old GT we liked a lot.
Yes.
Plenty of those on Autotempest. This new one, we actually like more.
I like it more, and I want one. Holy cow. This is where we're at.
$220,000, my friend. What are these going to be in 5 years? Is that the play? And are they still going to work?
Might be the play.
What's all the tech going to be then?
I hope it just works. I hope it's just the same.
I do too. Yeah. We'll see.
Because maybe at that, consider at that point.
I see. Yeah. Maybe later. When the prices come down.
I want this car. I just want it.
This is way up there as far as a candidate for ultimate grand touring car cross country, because this is one of the rare ones that's not just fast and comfortable in a straight line, but when you get on a really nice back road, whatever you want to do, it can do it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be able to, and yet it can.
Congratulations, Mercedes, for building the bestest, mostest, the thing that I want the most. I'm astonished. But, you know, if you didn't, we'd be wondering where it's at.
It's right here.